Yeah, good morning, my Biafran people. Thank you very much for this very day, and we thank God for everything that is happening. Like I always say, ube, ugo, abatago no hanta, but obrebe na mbobo. So that is why we keep on fighting, and we will keep fighting. But anyone on one, we are at the ready, we are at the go to shoot that ugo when it comes on board. So, my brothers and sisters, there is something really serious we are talking about. There's something to emphasize on. It should be a call. It's close to our heart. Now, I have been emphasizing on the narrative of election following the electoral process to gain our freedom by means of referendum where possible. There are so many ways that goes about getting a referendum. There are so many ways to it. We can also get it through the court process. We can also get it by violence. We can also get it by putting bills into the House by legislative means and getting the same outcome of referendum. But in these three, we have to think about the length of time, the consequence. Now, if we are going through the court system, you see, we are already in court. We can, from the low court in Owerri to the high court to the Supreme Court, and then proceed to the international court. Then we have to think about the length of time that will take, the period. How many years would that take? Maybe 20, 30, 40, we know how it goes, and at the same time we can get to that length. The international community will deny you first time, second time, or we can get it the first time and we can still come back home, have a referendum, and we fail it, or we can still pass it. But just let's talk about the length of time that might be in 20 or 30 years from now, which is also okay, depending on what you have in mind. If your mind is just Biafra to come in peace, 20 years, 30 years might not be a problem for somebody who is patient, but might be a little bit worrisome to some people who are living in that very contraption and they're seeing the suffer in depth. But the other way of violence, violence, also you look at the strength you have to apply and also the length of time you have to apply, then the implications. What happens in the use of force? It is one of the most tragic means, and for me, the most sorrowful means I would like our people to go through. People lose their lives. It will take a period of 1, 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how powerful you prove yourself, before the international community comes into play, and then the argument of referendum or not start to play out. And the consequences: loss of death, destruction of property and lives. At the same time, the international community might come in. When you use force, they come in against you. This is another implication that might follow. They might come in because you are not in the government, and they will just term you to be a destruction, an obstruction to the legitimate government. We know that international community have a rule and they have regulations. They have like a binding body. Once you belong to a government in play, in question, you are part, in a way, even if you are African, Asian, or wherever you come from, you are part of the international community. You have more recognition than an outside player, which for now, that is what Biafra is. We are outside players because we are not into the government. It's the right thing to do. It's a way to find a cost, but we have to take about the consequences. We have to measure our plans and also take our tongue and count our teeth. Which one is paying us best? Okay, we talk about the legislative, parliamentary system, where we have to put in people into house and then have them file bills for referendum. Yeah, it becomes a little bit tricky in this very question because we have tried it before. That is one thing everybody keeps saying, and that is one fear every one of us have in this very issue. Plus myself, I have the fear of putting people into the house because we know what happens when they go into those seats and when they change. So we have tried it with Apuga. Everybody knows the stories about that, and we know what and how it turned out. That is why it is. But let's time frame. Elections are being held every 4 years. So 4 years, we can make a change. If we are sincere, we can put in as much people as possible. The next 4 years again, 8 years, we can get our place covered up if we are serious. In 8 years, our governors, our senators, our representatives, local government chairmen, local community heads will all be loyalists to Biafran agitation. When we can achieve that, if we can get to that point, then the consequences. What are the consequences? Is that we are law abiding. It is a prestigious consequence in this effect. And what would that lead us to? It will lead us to having the responsibility to talk or to prove our points where it matters. One, to the people you want to secede from, you have to discuss with them. To the people we know hold the world in ransom, the international community. If you are in government, if you are in government realm of government, so to say, you have the access, you have the possibility, you have the right to discuss these issues about Biafra. Also, now, also conjoined with what exactly is happening today, the situation of the country, man, we have the absolute good chances of being listened to, even by the international community, because those are our governors, those are our senators, those are our representatives in the House will be going on diplomatic errands abroad. And there also they have the right, the privilege to express their views on the Biafran agitation. And then can the international community, any one of them, no matter whatever the country is, then they will be listening to you. At least listen to you, even if they don't agree with you at a particular time. And the negotiation is not a day issue. You keep on talking. You keep on talking. And the international community, where we are today in Nigeria, we definitely, instead of having another disabled Nigeria that will lead to massive immigration, refugee pumping up so to Europe and all these things, they would like to make the peace. By the 8 years, if we have a whole lot of support of our people in the House and have the support of the individuals behind them, efforts in the international community, my brothers and sisters, we will be close to freedom. And I have that time frame for 14 years, and that is what we are working with. But now, the issue with this system, all these systems now, if you check the whole systems I just identified here, you see that the political means now is the nearest, if I should say, and also the softest, the most civil, and also the most responsible way of doing that. Now, where we have the question is where I point out what has happened to us before because we have used that system. In fact, we have used 2 systems before. Only one system we have not used. We used the violence system against Nigeria 67 to 70 and we lost it. Now we are in court. Of course, we are applying the whole system now. Already, we have actually seen the political system also play wrongly on our own side because of the mentality and the ambitions of our ego-minded individuals. That was during the Apoga, and that is why we are talking about this very time. Now, we are still calling for that very methodology to be used because we believe it is the most appropriate, at least, for a first move. But the question lingers. And that question is going to be addressed. I here, Nwachukwu, I promise you people that I'm working to make sure that what happened within the Apoga days they are not going to happen again. And if they are going to happen, I will tell you beforehand. I will make you know that is I'm not a Kiliwi Nwachukwu or a Muslim man that can bully everybody to accepting what I'm saying. But what I know is that the systems that we are trying to put in place is going to make sure that we safeguard that narrative, that very angle of deceit. We are going to make sure that we put in place a vetting process, which is being worked out now, how it's going to be made, arrangements and information to people who will make that change effective, especially the UPP. We have the Biafran recognized party, just like the APOGA of those days, now the UPP, and we are getting information that even the APOGA is in a little bit going into agreement with the UPP, and we have the mobbing being the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, the political section or a structure of the Biafran movement, now identifying UPP as a party that has our agenda in mind. The same man, Chekwa Sokore, who did the APGA before he was kicked out or whatever that happened, that APGA became what it is today, is the same man that has opened this very channel for us, UPP, to go and try again. And this time, we are not going to make that mistake. And I believe that Chekwas himself, who saw what happened, who knew what happened to him and how everything went as completely haywire during the APGA days, he's not going to allow it to happen again this time. So we are confident that working with Rogers, working with the MKSD, having direct channels, contact with these people, and them upholding the advice that is coming from very intelligent and also not only intelligent. We are not going to work on intelligence because intelligence is an artificial thing that is gotten by education. We are talking about wisdom here, that is spiritual thing given by God. So we are sure that with the people we are working with the sincerity in their hearts, and also the ones we hope that people we are going to associate with ourselves with are going to come up, we are going to make this work this time. That is why we are calling on the vetting process. There is a document circulating now in the preparation to make that rigid, to make that constructive, to make that completely solidified to be the vetting condition, process, and question to all aspiring candidates that will represent us with the mobbing platform, collaborated with the UPP. We are going to make sure that works. At the same time, I would like you to know that the same thing happening in Anambra is happening in Aba. Although now we don't have a gubernatorial election coming up this November, that is why we are particularizing on the Anambra issue, because it's going to be a test. And I want every one of you to discard that information. Is that an announcement? Is that a comment? Is that what that Nnamdi is throwing around for our people not to vote? That is a very wrong ideology. We should not accept that our people don't vote. We should vote, but we should be careful that what happened, like I've been saying, the document is circulating around now for the vetting process, the means, the ways, the questions that are going to be thrown to these aspiring candidates. We are making sure that will be available to them, and we are going to make sure that they will make sure they comply with it, or you are not for it. Even if the UPP smuggles you in, that is where we are going to be aggressively challenging to them. If the UPP does anything, because we are going in contact with the UPP, we respect everything they are doing, we respect everything the mobbing is doing, and the response we are getting as at this time. We have put in place the suggestion, the opinion of this voting vetting process that will guide us to understand the people we are putting there in place. And we are getting wonderful response from Chekwa Sokore, from MKSD, from the people at home, from all the people you know that are in lead of this. We are happy about that. But at any time there is a misconception, a disagreement, we will bring that directly to you the way they come. So we are happy about what is happening. We are urging you to make sure you vote. And make sure, first of all, you demand from us if the vetting process was successfully made. And we promise you, we are really going to give you information the way it's going to benefit you. The way you understand whether the Biafra movement, they are still on the seat, cheating ourselves, lying to ourselves. We will bring you the information, but at this particular time, we are telling you that what is happening is okay, the way it's going. So if you have any question, also you are also asked, you are also obliged to bring forth any question that you wish that these gubernatorial candidates need to answer within the vetting process. We are going to screen all those questions that are coming up. People are bringing in their own questions. We want you to bring in the questions that will be used to make a compilation of a confidential document that will represent the questionnaire of the candidates that will be vetted. They are going to be grilled. It's not a question of trying to know from them what they feel. We are going to tell them what we feel and the way we want to do it, and the parties, the affiliations, the candidates, everyone have to comply with the process that we put in place. Either you are in or you are out. So that the roadmap will be on a road forward to achieving that very time frame. We know that if Anambra can go further, if Anambra becomes that witness or that very first example, it is going to go a long way to engineer other people, other states, come 19 or 18? I don't know. The next election season is going to engineer a lot of people to do the same in their own areas, thereby coming close to what I just explained, how we can get our people involved in this process, in at least fully the whole part of the 5 states. For me, I'm talking about 5 states Biafra for now. Not that I am rejecting the Southerners, the South, or whatever those our brothers say their name is, or what name they have been given. But I am leaving an open door. But I want us to stop. We are fighting a very hard cause here. We cannot be fighting this and at the same time fighting to know who our brothers are. The people we have wholeheartedly opened our hands, our minds to accept them, and they are in the other way rejecting. We cannot continue that. We have done it for years. We have tried our best. I've given so many kinds of proofs to say speaking one language, having same names is not a criteria of being one people or one country. It's here in Switzerland, German, Austria, speaking one language, they are sharing one names, they are different countries. It doesn't mean that they don't recognize themselves as brothers and sisters. We will also do the same. We will recognize our brothers from the other Eastern zone as our brothers. Then the judgment becomes their own to make, whether they want to be part of us or not. It's not for us to keep forcing them. We have tried our best, try to bring them in, but now it's time for us to be confident of ourselves, to make them know that we can do it with or without them. And how you do that is, first of all, shutting them down. You shut them down. If you continue to want to know, you can't find it out unless you close the door. Then you know who wants to come in, who is knocking. We always hear that our brothers are more Biafran than we are, but when they go federal level, they say otherwise. We know that the 5 states that are contained within our own Igbo section, if you call up anybody, whether they believe in this very struggle today or not, but if you wake them up morning, afternoon, evening, they will tell you they are Biafrans. We know that that fact doesn't exist on the other side. Some will say they are, some will say they are not. So it's understandably clear that there is a confusion. And this confusion, we have been dealing with it for a long time, trying to sort it out. Where it's not possible, we live forcing it. And we see also to that confusion is a bone of contention. There's an influence that is very difficult for us to deal with. They say we are pulling them because of their natural resources. That's what they say. And they believe this from their heart of heart. Sometimes they openly say that we are the most domineering, we are the most wicked. Our own brothers come out openly and sometimes disgrace us to the sight of the whole nation. So what do we do in this case? Leave the door open for them after their confusion, after they might have settled their problems, either collectively or in their individual autonomy or locality or community or whatever. Any one of them that says, okay, they are recognized Biafra, they come in. If you redraw the map of Biafra today and they make a public statement that the doors are open for our brothers, but today we have officially redrawn the map of Biafra to contain the people that we are sure of, first of all. We have to count our own people and contain our own people, the people we are sure that no matter how they always identify, even if they are not in the struggle, ignorance plays a whole lot of part, fear and so many other things play a part why the people in our own section will say they are not into the today's struggle, but not that they are not Biafrans. They can never say that. So if we know that, if we gather our people, we redraw the map, we 5 states as Biafra, then believe me, you, my brothers and sisters, we will know those of them who say they are more Biafran than us. They will challenge the closing of the doors. They will be knocking to enter, say, why are you doing this? We will know he who wants to come in, and we will accept you. Those who don't want, if we want to prove ourselves, is for us to prove that we can do it with or without them. If we want to justify and even to be sure of what we are saying, because sometimes it might start looking as if we are not even sure of how strong, how effective we can be as a nation. Some of our people complain, oh, those people must come because if they don't come, we will be landlocked. There's a lot of complaint coming from our own people, also showing that a little fear of doing it themselves, but using so many kind of tricky reasons to cover their fear. So, my people, I want us to challenge ourselves. Can the Igbo-speaking Biafrans alone become a nation of their own? If we think the answer is yes, because it's yes, I know the answer is yes. Forget about landlocked. Forget about natural resources, even if we don't have it. Forget about all those things we are thinking about. As the question for me is, can the Igbos, only the Igbo speaking, become one nation? I believe it's absolutely yes. And can we become a very better nation even as one Igbo? I believe, oh my brother, if our brothers would like to come in, although I will also open the doors for them, but I will just feel, oh, we are going to be a little bit tight up. I believe that we can make a better Igbo. I believe we can effect a very big change and attitude in the world if we are Igbo speaking Biafra. But at the same time, my hearts are open, the doors are open for our brothers. But that is another story. What we are now dealing with, what we right now want to deal with, is the Anambra election that is at hand. The Anambra election is coming this November. Everybody knows. It's just some couple of months. We are asking whether we are prepared to show that sample. We are asking the Biafra people in Anambra to wake up and make that work. But before then, we would like those gubernatorial candidates, those whatever position you are aspiring for, to please make sure they comply with the vetting process that is in place. Mind you, if you are not vetted, we are going to make it absolutely clear to our people that you are not serving our interests. It's as simple as that. So my brothers and sisters, it's a call this morning for just 3 things. rejection of the Nnamdi Kanu announcement, upholding of the fact that election is very, very important, and making sure you ask questions about the vetting and also help, if possible, supply us with questions that might eventually make their way into the vetting document to help arrange our nation. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Much Emmanuel, as always. God be with you all.